Okay, here we have a binomial times a trinomial. And how we're going to do this is we're going to take the first term from the first bracket, and we're going to multiply that into the entire second bracket. And we're going to take the second term from that first bracket and now multiply that into the second bracket as well. Okay. And then we simply distribute. Okay. So it's going to be x times x squared. It's going to give us x cubed. X times minus x squared. X times a positive 3 is going to give us a positive 3x. Now we're going to do the same for 2. And 2 times x squared is a positive 2x squared. 2 times a negative x is going to give us negative 2x. And 2 times a positive 3 is going to give us a positive 6. Then we find our like terms. So we see that we have just one x cubed, but we have x squared. Then we also have x and x. And now what we're going to do is we're going to write the x cubed. We try and write our answers in descending powers. Then we look at the x squared. We have a negative 1x squared plus 2x squared, and that's going to give us plus x squared. Then we have a positive 3x, and we're subtracting a negative 2x from that, and that's now going to give us a positive x. And then we are left with plus 6. We check once more if there's any like terms, and there isn't any, so this is our final answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we have two fractions, and here what we're meant to do is find the lowest common denominator. As we can see here, there's no common denominator here. So in this case, we would just take both of those as a common denominator, the multiplication of them. So let's get that going. So our common denominator will be x plus 3, 2 minus x. So how we actually do this now, we look at the denominator here, and we divide the common denominator by the denominator of our first term, and we'll be left with 2 minus x times our numerator from there. So it'll be 5 into 2 minus x. And we do the same for the next term. So we look at this denominator. When we divide the common denominator by the denominator of the second term, we're left with x plus 3, and our numerator here is negative 3. So negative 3 into x plus 3. And that equals to, in our numerator, we're going to get 5 times 2, we're going to get 10. 5 times negative x, negative 5x. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. And we're going to get a negative 9 here at the end. And our denominator is going to stay the same. And lastly, we're going to look for like terms on the top. So here we see we're trying to, once again, to write our answers in descending powers. So we look at the x's first. We have a negative 5x and a negative 3x. That's going to be negative 8x. And then we look at our numbers. We have 10 minus 9, and it's a positive 1. Negative 8x plus 1. And in the denominator, we now have x plus 3, 2 minus x. And that's our final answer. We see we have 25, 15, 3, and 5. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find the prime factors of these larger numbers. Now you could just do this in a calculator, but if you didn't know how to do it in the calculator, you can just use the lather method. So we look at the smallest prime number that can go into 25, and that is 5. And 5 can go into 25 5 times, and 5 going to 5 1 time. So here, 25 basically is equal to 5 squared. And we do the same for 15. Okay. And we're going to say the smallest prime number that can go into 15 is 3, 5 times 5. So the prime factors of 15 is 5 times 3. Okay, so now we use that in this question, and then we rewrite our 25 as 5 squared to the power negative x times 5 times 3 to the power x plus 1 all over 3 to the power x times 5 to the power negative x. Now, what's important to realize here is that on the top, in the numerator, we're multiplying across this way, and we're dividing through the fraction. So let's first get rid of these brackets. So we know we have to multiply this. So we left with 5 to the power negative 2x over, okay, and we shift it to the side. Then we have a 1 here, and we have a 1 here. So that's equal to 5 to the power x plus 1 times 3 to the power x plus 1. We're going to multiply each of these by what's on the outside. And on the bottom, we have 3 to the power x times 5 to the power minus x. Now, I like to do this is I like to write the base from the top. Okay, one. Let's start off the base 3. And let's look at what we have on the top. On the top, we write it as is, x plus 1. And then, remember, we are dividing through this line. So what's on the bottom? This is a positive x. So we write the opposite sign, we negative x. Now, on the top, let's do the same for 5. We write 5, we can write negative 2x. And we're going to write this as we see it, because when we're multiplying, we add the exponents. So we plus x plus 1, and then when we're dividing, we subtract. So it'll be minus x, okay? The opposite of that, minus x. And when we simplify, the x minus x will give you 0, so we'll be left with 3 to the power 1. And here with the 5, let's just go through the whole thing for 5. We're going to get 5 negative 2x plus 1 plus x, and that's going to equal to 3 to the power 1 times the negative 2x plus x, x's will disappear, times 5 to the power 1, and we have 15 as our. Okay, here we're just going to expand this and see where we end up first. Let's do that. So we have 3p plus q times 3p plus q. Now, instead of using FOIL, I just like to distribute this the same way we do a binomial times a trinomial. 3p into 3p plus q. And then we take the second term plus q into 3p plus q. And that equals to 9p squared plus 3pq plus 3pq plus q squared. Now let's look at the information that they gave us. They gave us that 9pq p squared plus q squared is equal to 19. So we can rewrite this as, sorry, it's equal to 12. Okay, so we can rewrite this as, just reordered, 9p squared plus q squared, and then we'll be left with plus 6pq, because we can see these are like terms, 3pq plus 3pq. And what happens here is that we can see that this, according to our question, equals to 12. So that's equal to 12. And PQ, according to our question, is equal to negative 3. So plus 6 into negative 3. And negative 6 times negative 3 is going to give us negative 18. So 12 minus 18 is going to give us the answer of negative 6.